Okay, it's on the rack. Let's take a look at it. Right? Crispy, crispy. Look at the undercarriage, looking good. Let it rest. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube video, and for good reason. I've been practicing my New York City style pizza, and I think I got it down to a science. Tom's science. I have a spreadsheet with hydration. I'm going to share that with you. I have 2 doughs made today that I'm going to make the pizza with. I'm going to take you back into the past when I made the dough, and then back into the past when I made the poolish for the dough. I'm going to show you my methodology for putting it all together, and then the methodology here in the oven. So I'm just sweeping the floor, and I will tell you that that oven is super, super hot. Let's get a reading. So 782. Okay, that's way too hot to make New York City style pizza. I want that floor to be around 630, 640, something like that. So I'm going to get it nice and hot and then let it cool down. I'm not going to have a rolling flame. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you need a rolling flame. You don't need a rolling flame. As long as you got the heat, you're good. This is New York City style pizza. I'm not looking for a char on the top. What I'm looking for is to bake this thing for about 6 to 8 minutes and get a nice undercarriage crust, nice and crispy, and have everything on the top cooked. I've been focused on not over saucing, not over cheesing, getting the right blend of ingredients onto my pizza. And the dough I'm using is a 70% hydration dough. It's all bread flour. I'm not using anything fancy. It's King Arthur's organic bread flour, so it's got a high protein content. 70% hydration. I'm using, what is it, 3% salt, and I'm using 4% olive oil in that dough. And I'm going to take you through the whole process of how I make the dough and the whole process of balling it up and getting it ready to bring it over here to bake it. Okay? And then we're going to do it together over there on my little work area and put the pizzas together. Now also notice this opening is 16 inches. My peel is 16 inches. And you can see I can only fit one 16-inch pizza in there. And that's fine. I mean, maybe if I was making like 10-inch pieces, I could put 2, like one next to each other. But I'm doing like between a 14 and a 16-inch pizza. And I got to tell you, my back is burning right now. So I just wanted to take you through the whole beginning process of this, that I believe I am making a really great New York City style pizza. And I have to tip my hat to Charlie Anderson, because he does those deep dives, and I really respect, and I'm happy. He seems like a real nice kid, and I'm happy that he's got this pizza place up in Cleveland. I'd like to go visit it sometime. Segue, but I believe, based on watching what he has done and then doing my own experiments, that I have come up with a really great combination for the style that I like, which is Joe's on Carmine Street, or Ray's right on 11th, that kind of thing. That's the pizza I'm shooting for. So without further ado, I'm going to shut this thing down, wait for that to cool down enough, and then we're going to make a couple of pizzas. My first pizza is going to have toppings because my wife likes pepperoni and sausage. The second one is going to be just cheese, because I believe that's the way to really judge this. I'm using a little bit of pecorino romano on it. I'm using a little bit of shredded Parmesan on it, and then a nice whole fat mozzarella, but not the fresh mozzarella, the kind you get in the wrapper. A little olive oil, a little oregano, and I'm using a raw sauce. All in all, this combination is yielding a really, really nice New York style pizza. So stay with me, and we're going to do it in a little bit. Welcome back to the past. You're watching me right now. I know you're watching me right now. We went back into time so I could show you how I made the dough because we're making pizza. So what you see before you is 279 grams of um, bread flour. And this is King Arthur's organic bread flour. Okay, if you can see in there. Okay, I've got 180 grams of water. It's about a 64% hydration, but that's because we'll be adding the poolish, and that's going to change the hydration to make it an even 70%. 10 grams of salt, and I like to use this salt. And I'll explain why later. And I'm using 13 grams of olive oil, and it just happens to be this olive oil. Okay, let me go get the poolish. So this I made last night, and if you want to see how I made the poolish, right, look at how nice and bubbly it is. The poolish was made last night. We'd have to go back into the past to see me make the poolish. Welcome back to the past, but not the past, the past, because if you're watching me right now, that means you were watching me make pizza 2 days from now, which means I took you to the past to show you how I made the dough. But in order to make the dough, you need the poolish, which is in the past. Okay? So what I've got here is, look inside there, look inside, 2 grams of honey, just 2 grams, okay? Making a poolish, which is 100% hydration. 50 grams of water. I measured it out, and I'm not going to take you to the past where I measured it out. We're not going to do that. I'm using this honey. You can use any honey. This is the honey that was opened. I'm using this yeast, which is active dry, and I've got 2 grams of yeast. But I'm not going to throw it in yet. And then I've got 50 grams of bread flour. What I'm going to do first is let that honey dissolve. After the honey dissolves, I'm going to throw in the yeast and the flour, and then we're going to let it sit for 1 hour before it goes in the fridge. The honey is dissolved. I like to dissolve it. It makes life easier. Okay, so the honey's all dissolved. I'm going to just put the yeast in, just like that. I'm going to put the 50 grams of flour. So that's 50 grams of water, or 50 milliliters, and 50 grams of flour. And I'm just going to stir it up. Just like that. Okay. And if you look inside, I'm going to go get a scraper and scrape it all down. Okay. Let's just scrape it down. Okay. So, again, this is the poolish. So, the pre-ferment, if you will. And what I'm going to do is let this sit at room temperature for 1 hour. Let's get a good look at that. Okay, so you see it's all kind of a big mass in the middle, right? In about an hour, it's going to level out and it's going to rise to about here. And then we're going to throw it in the fridge overnight. And then tomorrow, which is still 1 day in the past, we'll be making the dough. Okay, 1 hour has passed, and it's exactly where I said it would be, right? You see it, it's right there, and it's level across the top. If you look inside, you'll see it's nice and bubbly, and it smells like the yeast is active, and we just needed to get it to this level. Now we're going to let it slow ferment in the fridge, and then tomorrow we make the dough. So this is the double past. Tomorrow will be the past, and then we're making pizza in 2 days from now. You got me? But for now, I'm going to let it reach room temperature. And all I'm going to do right now is put the water in with the flour, and that's it. I'm going to let that sit for about an hour. And that process is called autolyse. Now, do you need to do it this way? Absolutely not. But what I have found is, well, it doesn't make much difference, auto-lees or not auto-lees, in terms of the end product. But I have found that if you do it this way, because it's a high hydration dough, it is actually easier to handle in the beginning. Like it's going to be a sticky dough, but for some reason, because of this binding that occurs during the auto-lees, it becomes a little bit easier to handle than if I didn't do it. It would be a lot messier in the beginning stages of the kneading. And since I'm doing everything by hand, it's not that I'm trying to make life easier, but I like the kneading to be not as messy. And I just don't want to use the mixer. Okay, see, all I'm doing is combining the flour and the water. That's all I'm doing. And I'm going to just get that thoroughly combined and then let it sit here for about an hour. This is a handy scraper. Let this sit for about an hour. And in that time, my poolish is going to reach room temperature. And this, the gluten strands are going to form a little bit in my little dough. Now you're going to say, look at how little that dough is. Well, there's just two of us in the house. So I'm just going to make 2 pizzas. All right. And those 2 pizzas, once we're done mixing and everything, the dough is going to be about, I don't know, 275, 280 grams each dough ball. Okay, so that's mixed. Let me cover that with some plastic wrap and give it an hour, and I'll see you in a little bit. But we're going to still be in the past. All right, 1 hour has passed. And if you look inside here, let's pull it out. You'll see how the dough is kind of stretchy already, right? It's kind of stretchy, and all I did was just mix the flour and the water. It's sticky though, see it? That's the problem, because it's a high hydration dough, it's very sticky. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the poolish. Now, there's going to be a little bit of loss, I get it, right? But not much. And that's why before we put our dough away, we're going to weigh it again to make sure how we divide it exactly in half. And I'm not going to be able to get all of that out of there, but I'm going to get as much as I can. Okay, good enough. So now, you see, now we've got a combination of the original dough and the poolish. That's going to change the hydration. And the total hydration is now going to become 70%, which is perfect for our dough, because we're going to cook these pizzas for about 7, maybe 8 minutes. Okay, I'm going to just use the scraper to just get them blended a bit. All I'm doing is moving it around and folding it on itself. Okay, and then here it is. There's the dough. Okay, now the next part gets to be a little bit tricky, but we're going to go through it. Get all this out of the way, and we're going to add the oil and the salt afterwards, which is counterintuitive, right? Usually I like to dissolve my salt in the water before I start messing around. Okay, but you see, it's a loose mess, but it's going to come together pretty quickly. So I'm just going to do some stretch and folds. I'm going to look at the time. Okay, so in a few minutes time, and I'll probably speed this up on the video playback. But all I'm doing is I'm picking it up, stretching it, slapping it, and folding it. But the stretch is important, right? And you see how it's wet and sticky, right? It's not coming together yet, but you'll see in a minute or so this is going to come together and it's going to be very elastic. Okay, and after a little bit of stretching, I'm going to add in the salt, and then I'm going to add in the olive oil. And like I said, it seems counterintuitive, and it looks kind of weird, but you'll see in the end how it all comes together. Right? Like if you just started doing this, you'd be like, oh, this is crazy. I'm not going to do it that way. Right? But you see, it's already getting firm, but it's still not, it's still breaking when I stretch. And that's okay. That's okay. Just stay the course. Right? If this was inside of a mixer, you wouldn't be thinking about it. The hook would be doing the job, right? But we're doing the exact same thing the hook does, right? It's a slap and a stretch. A slap and a stretch, right? That's what the hook kind of does. Slap and a stretch. Okay, so now I'm going to just stretch it out a bit. I'm going to scrape up that little bit of dough there. Put my salt in. Right, that's it, 10 grams of salt. I got a little bit of dough here. Let's just pick that up. Okay, fold it over. And now continue my stretch and fold. And I can feel the granules of salt in there. That's going to dissipate in about a minute or so. That's going to dissipate. And the texture is going to change. But you see, I'm getting a stretch out of it. Right? I'm getting a stretch. It's still tearing. But I'm getting a stretch. And it's only been about 3 minutes. This is going to take about 10. So like I said, I'll speed it up on the play. Maybe I won't speed it up on the playback. You know, you could always just fast forward, right? Because I don't want it to look like I'm hiding anything, right? I want full disclosure here because this dough really comes out nice. Yeah, it's still breaking. See, I'm getting a decent stretch on it though. And I really like the working with the dough this way because after you do it a few times, you get a feel for what it's like. And I'm going to go get my metal scrapers. I'm going to scrape that bench up a bit. But I can feel that it's already starting to change. It's still breaking, right? But I am getting a decent stretch out of it. I don't feel the salt granules anymore. And after we do this a little bit, I'm going to let it relax, and then it's going to become more pliable. All right, so it's olive oil time now. And this is going to be a holy mess. When you see what I do with the olive oil, you'll be like, oh, I'm never going to do that. But it actually works. It actually works. But let me go get my metal scrapers out of the drawer. And you see, I've got some dough on my hands. It comes off. And I don't want to add flour or water at this stage. I don't want to change the hydration. It's coming together. All right, I'm going to get my metal scrapers, and then we're going to add the olive oil in. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. Put in the olive oil and watch what happens. It looks like a holy mess. It really does. But you'll see how it comes together. Okay? Right? You see how it's just folding out, right? It's squirting out of here, it's squirting out of there. You'll see. Right? You'll see. Right? See how it's falling apart? And if I slap it now, it's just going to splash the olive oil. So I'm not going to slap it real hard. And again, if this was inside of a mixer, you'd never really see this, right? It would just work, and then it would just come together, right? So this is the inside workings of the mixer, except I'm doing it by hand, okay? See it? It's a mess, right? You'll see. It's going to come together. It's going to come together. See it? It's already coming together. It looks like it wouldn't, but then it does. And this is an important life lesson, because a lot of times in life, things look like they're a holy mess, but you can get them back together, right? Right? Life is like dough. Okay, let's scrape all that up. Okay, you notice how the dough is starting to look a little different, right? Like I can't do a window pane test yet, but we will. Just want to keep stretching, right? The slap is nice, but it's the stretch, right? I'm working on those gluten strands. It's only been, I don't know, about 7-8 minutes. This takes about 10 for a piece of dough this size. Yeah, I can feel it. It's coming together, man. I can feel it. See it? Look how it's stretching nice. See it? Very soon, I'm going to give it a little rest. Let's take a look. Yeah, almost. And it feels a little sticky, but it's not terribly sticking to my hands, if you notice. Like, my hands are not a holy mess. Right? I just want to make sure I stretch it good. All right, I think we're there. I think we are there. Get that dough off my fingers. I'm gonna roll it up into a nice tight ball, give it about a 20-minute rest. Then we're gonna fold it again some more and let it do an hour bulk rise. And then it's gonna go in the fridge and let it ferment overnight. Okay? So I just wanna make sure I'm not wasting any dough, right? I mean, there's gonna be some loss, but I don't want there to be a lot of loss. Okay, now watch what happens here. I'm going to just take it for a little walk and watch it tighten up. I'm keeping the top on top. See it? Keeping the top on top. I'm basically just moving it around, and by moving it like that, I'm forcing tension and keeping the top there. Right? My top is, I'm going to just fold it on itself. Fold it on itself. And now it's a nice tight ball. Put a little bit of olive oil on top. Cover that with that piece of plastic. Let it rest for about 20 minutes. And when we come back, it's going to be ready for to be folded and then put into position for a bulk rise. Okay. Let me get that cleaned up. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. I've got an empty bowl, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of olive oil in that bowl. Just a tiny bit. I'm going to just rub it around. And then, do you remember how firm this looked earlier? Now watch. Just going to detach it, pick it up, and you see how nice and pliable it is. So I just put the top side down. I'm going to fold it into itself, right? And then fold it over, and then give it a few folds like that. And then tighten it up. And I'm going to show you what happens when you pull it like that. You see the bottom there? Watch what happens. As I pull it, it's creating tension on the top, and it's also closing up that hole. Okay, now let's weigh it. This way I know exactly how to divide it in half tomorrow when I make pizza. Okay, perfect. So it is 570 grams, 570. I'll put a little bit of olive oil on my hand. Put it on top. Cover it with the wrap. And then, in an hour, I'm going to put it in the fridge. I'm going to write that down. 570. 570 grams. Put it on top. And in 1 hour, I'm going to put that in the fridge. And then it's going to ferment overnight. So the reason why I do that is, first I want to let it start to rise a little bit and get the activity going. Then we put it in the fridge to slow that process down, so it's a nice slow ferment overnight, and that adds flavor to the dough. All right, I'm trying something new today. Instead of using the andiron, I just put a block of birch on the bottom and two big hunks of wood across it so that there's some airflow under them. I'm going to light my fire this way. This way, the andiron won't be in there occupying space, because I'd like to see how much room I could actually get inside this oven after the fire is lit. All right, there is my kindling block, right? I've got a couple of pieces of birch split. I've got some newspaper, a little kindling wood here, this piece right here, a little bit more birch. And once I get that thing lit, I push it back and we ignite those big logs. And then we have a nice hot oven. I do this about 2.5, 3 hours before it's pizza time. Okay, it is oven lighting time. Just gonna throw that match in there. I didn't put it, no, that's fine. So that's it. That should do the trick, that one match. I know a lot of guys like to be on YouTube showing their blowtorch, and blowtorches are cool, but you don't need them. All right, and this should ignite relatively quickly. And as soon as that's lit, I'm going to push it back towards the rear logs. And in about 3 hours, this oven's going to be hot enough to make my New York style pizza. All right? Yeah, baby. I can hardly wait to make that pizza. Okay, it has been about 3 minutes. I'm just going to push that back towards those large logs. Right? I'm going to pick this one up, and I'm going to try to place this one over the top and lean them on those logs. But I don't think I could do it with one hand. Okay. So in about 3 hours time, it's going to be pizza time. Maybe 3.5. You know, we'll get that good and hot, and then we'll let it settle. Okay, it has been about 45 minutes, and all that kindling in the front has burned out. The back logs are lit. I just put another little piece on top there, and the oven floor is about a little 350 degrees Fahrenheit, about. So it's only 45 minutes in, so we're going to let those logs burn up. I'm going to keep feeding that fire, and we're going to get that oven floor to about 700, and then we're going to let it drop to about 630 when we bake our pizzas. It is just about 2 hours before pizza time, so that means we're going to take that dough out of the fridge, right, 570 grams, and we're going to let it rest at room temperature for about an hour, and then we're going to divide it in half. All right, it is about 1 hour, maybe hour and a half from pizza time, and this has been sitting at room temperature, the dough, for about an hour, so that, you know, we're trying to get it up to temperature. It's still a little cold, and I'm just going to get it out of that bowl. Make a liar out of me, why don't you? Get it out of that bowl. Let's try that again. Come on, guys. Come on. We're kind of stuck. We're kind of stuck. That's okay. Okay, we're out. Good, good, good. It was 570 grams total, so we're going to get 285 grams each. I'm going to make 2 pizzas. So I'm guessing that's pretty much right down the middle. That's 303. 266. Okay. 276. 285. Perfect. Okay. 285, and this one should be 285. Yep. Perfect. Okay, good. I'm going to just make 2 balls, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to stretch it into itself. right? Fold it over again, and then try to make it nice and tight, right? I want to make it tight on the top, and I want to close that seam on the bottom. Okay, again, I'm just going to stretch it and push it to the middle. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then roll it onto itself. And then close up the seam. And then I'm going to let these sit and rise and relax and puff up for an hour, hour and a half, when it's actually pizza time. Look at the bottom. You see how it's closed up? Okay. And I'm going to just put it on a floured sheet, right? That's it. 1, 2. Flour them up. And now we'll cover them with plastic wrap and let them sit until it's time to make pizza. Okay, it is pizza time. So let's get our first. The oven is at the perfect temperature. My dough balls are looking good. Let's bring one down here. I spilled a little sauce. That's okay. Pull this dough ball out. Put that back up top. And you might be asking, hey, Tom, what kind of wine are you drinking? Well, I happen to be drinking a 2018 Chateau Greysac from the Medoc region. And it is a reasonably priced wine. It's quite delicious. It's a blend, a claret. And you see what I'm doing. I'm just pinching out the dough. I'm not making Neapolitan style, but I'm starting it out pretty much the same way you would start out a Neapolitan. I am going to have a discrete crust, but not like a Neapolitan style crust. But I want to make sure that when I stretch the dough, I don't get any thin spots. And I want to get it, you see that's a 16-inch peel. I want to get it to be just about a 16-inch pizza. Okay? Okay. Let's start stretching a little bit. I want to make sure I stretch from the outside and not in the middle. And that's the hazard of doing this outside. You get a little wind, and right away things start blowing around, but I think we're going to be okay. It's not very windy out. You see my plastic wrap blowing up there, right? That's always a concern. So you see I'm just trying to slowly stretch it out. I think the dough is a little bit cold. I don't want to rush it. Well, it's coming. It's coming along. So the first pizza is going to be for my wife. It's going to have pepperoni and sausage. And then the second one is going to be just cheese. I don't want to say plain cheese. There's nothing plain about it. All right. Okay. We're almost there. So I have on my peel some semolina. And you see I'm not quite at the full 16, right? But that's okay. We're going to stretch it out in a little bit. Okay. I spilled a little bit. So this is a crushed tomatoes It's a raw sauce. That's all I'm putting. It's got a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder. I think this sauce is using Cento tomatoes. I have used a can of Jersey crushed tomatoes. They're so similar that, what the hell? Oh, ash. It's ash. Ash is from the oven. They're so similar that I don't think I could tell them apart when they're already on the pizza. Okay, so oregano. And I have portioned out my shredded mozzarella. I freshly shredded it, grated it. Each of these little containers has 5 ounces. Oh, you know what I forgot to bring out? I forgot to bring out the Romano. Let me go get that Romano. I forgot the Romano. Right? I don't want to over sauce it or over cheese it. I didn't bring out the olive oil either. Let me go get the Romano and the olive oil. Okay, we're going to hit this with a little bit of olive oil, but first, a little bit of Romano, just a bit, not too much, and some freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. I was playing around with shaved Parm, and I liked it, but the last pie I made, I put too much on. And you'd be surprised how quickly you can ruin a pie, okay, by putting too much of one ingredient. Okay, a little bit of olive oil. Now this pepperoni, I sliced it thin myself earlier. It's Dietz and Watson, and it's very nice. And if you slice it yourself like this, that's when you get it to cup, which I didn't know that was a thing. I see a lot of people posting about my pepperoni, I want it to cup up, and I never even thought about it, never even cared about it. But this one happens to do it. And as it turns out, my wife likes that. So that's cool. And I'm going to hit her with plenty of pepperoni. Okay, plenty. And now 1/2 pepperoni, 1/2 sausage. This is a raw sausage. I'm going to just pull some meat out of that link and just put a little bit. The oven's hot enough where I'm not concerned about the sausage not cooking. That sausage is going to cook. And really, like I said, I really enjoy a cheese pie, but this one comes out very nice. I was going to do a white one also, but that's too much to do in one day, 3 pies, because we can't eat it all. And it really is best when you have it fresh. All right, that's enough sausage. Okay, so it's a 16-inch peel. Let's make it a 16-inch pie, huh? Well, it's not really stretching that much, but it's stretched a bit. Okay, into the oven it goes. Yeah, that's good. Can I zoom in a bit? Yeah, nice. Okay, so I have to start turning it already. Even though I have it near the opening of the oven, you can see how that back is starting to get brown already, right? Let's turn it, because I don't want it. This is not a Neapolitan pizza. I want it to brown. I don't want it to burn. I'm also trying to keep a lookout on the time here. So it's 10 minutes into this video. Of course, I did go upstairs and get some things because I forgot them. I'm keeping it near the front of the oven for now so I can cook it slower. And I'm going to check my time. So it is 6:55 now. It's probably been in about, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute already. I'm not even sure. Just keep turning it. Right, you see how it's a little bit charred there already. That's because I was trying to get the camera set up. That's fine though. That is fine, right? So the oven is hot, man. You know, there's no rolling flame, but that is a hot, like, that's hot. I wonder if we can get a reading. I'm going to try to point it over there. That's 7. Hold on. So closer to where the pizza edge is, 625. So that's just about in the sweet spot. Just keep turning it. And I discovered this by accident. One night, I made a pizza, blazing hot, like a Neapolitan style, and came out great. And then I didn't put any more logs on, and it was a while before I put a new one in, and the temperature dropped a bit, and it took longer to cook. And I was surprised because it came out crispy, and I was like, oh, there's a clue. So it was a pretty high hydration. It was 70% hydration, but I got it crispy, and I was like, wow. So it's not just about the hydration. However, I will say that if you've got a decent hydration, you know, like a high hydration, 70, 75%, you can cook it longer without drying out the dough. So that's pretty cool. But look at that. Look at that, how nice it's coming along. I'm going to get a sip of wine while. So this is the bottle, Chateau Graysec from Medoc, 2018. It's about $20 a bottle. It's not terribly expensive. I got it at Gary's. It's fantastic. It's a really lovely, balanced claret. We used to drink that in Park and Orchard when we used to go to Park and Orchard. They had it by the glass there. And when I found it out and about lately, I started snapping up some bottles because I still love it. Okay, so it's only been about 3 minutes since I checked my clock. So I'm guessing this pizza's been in here about 4 minutes. And you can see how we're starting to get a little brown on the edge. I might have to go get my my headlamp for the next pizza because it's starting to get dark already. But you see how it's just coming along, right? It's not charred on the bottom yet. Just keep turning it. And then when we get a little closer to the end, I'm going to put it closer to the flame to really get a nice crispy crust on it. I'm a little bit annoyed that that got black there like that, but it's okay. It's okay. We're doing well. We are doing well. And part of this is because, you know, I'm managing a camera and talking and doing all this at the same time. So I'm usually just making pizza. I'm not worried about shooting the video. I want to go get my headlamp because it is getting dark out here quickly. Let me see if I can get the lights on. Yeah, at least I have the backyard lights come on, but that doesn't do anything for what's inside the oven. You really can't see what's inside the oven. I'm going to go get my headlamp. Okay, now we can see what's going on in there, right? We got a little undercarriage action happening, right? It's starting to get nice. What's our time? So it's been in there about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes. I'm going to now shift it to the back and get it a little crispy. Now I got to focus on rotating it because when I get it closer to the back, it can burn, and it could burn quickly. All right, look at that. See how that's already charred there? That's bad. Yep. That's got to come out. That has to come out. Yeah, see it? I'm surprised that it charred that much. All right, I think I'm going to pull it. Last thing I want is a burnt pizza. Hey, the undercarriage looks pretty good. All right, I got my phone going. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Looking good. It's coming in the house. Okay. Pizza number one. Let's take a look. Okay, so we've got, that's crispy. Let's take a look at the undercarriage. Yep, we're looking good. We are looking good. Okay, I'm gonna cut that in a couple minutes. Okay, let's see if we can cut it across this way. Sweet. Let's take a look. Nice. Nice undercarriage. Looking good. Okay. That was pizza number one. Let's do pizza number two, which is going to be just cheese. Okay. Put that aside. You know what? Where is my wine? There it is. All right. Okay. Dough's still a little bit cold, colder than I would like, but it's stretching well. And again, you know, I haven't done a video in quite a while for YouTube because I've been practicing getting this just right. And I think I'm getting there. Like, I'm going to continue to try to perfect it, but I'm not going to make radical changes. But what I'm getting now out of this dough and with these ingredients is pretty close to what I love in a New York City slice. And, you know, I know there are people that like the Connecticut thing, and I've been there. I like Sally's. I like Sally's better than Pepe's, actually. But, and it's nice. It's a nice, thin, crispy crust. I like that. But New York is really what I'm digging. And, you know, there used to be a place when I was a kid called Vincent's up in Cliffside. They're gone now. But Vincent's, I think, was among the best I've ever had. Now, I still need to make a trip into Brooklyn because there are some places in Brooklyn that I keep seeing that I need to try. I need to try them for myself. And I just haven't taken the time to go out there. But, you know, the American Dream Mall is right here. And Best Pizza actually has an outlet at the American Dream Mall. So I don't have an excuse for that, right? I can go there easily enough. I'm trying to stretch, but I'm trying also not to get a thin spot or break it, right? I feel that's a little thick there. Okay, I think we're good. Just gonna shake off some of that flour. Okay, let's get a little bit more semolina on my peel. Okay, and get this onto the peel. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can get it closer to the edges of that peel after I dress it up. So again, not over saucing, just 2 spoons. I don't know what kind of spoon. This is not really a tablespoon. It's a little bit bigger than a tablespoon. It's like a serving spoon, but it seems to be the right amount. And it's easier to spread this crushed tomato than it is to spread the tomato that has, you know, bigger chunks. So that's it. I used to. So like right now, I see there's a little couple of spots that I want a little more sauce on, and I used to just go get a little more, and I've learned how to just stop myself from doing that because I would wind up over saucing at that point. Okay, some nice oregano, as they like to say. And again, I apportioned out, it's 5 ounces, right? It's just 5 ounces. I shredded it myself. And today's cheese, believe it or not, and it's actually pretty good, is from ShopRite. It's Bowl and Basket, which, you know, it's their brand, but there's a creamery obviously that makes the Bowl and Basket for them. It's not ShopRite doing it, but it's an actually very nice mozzarella. You know, if you can get past the idea that it's from ShopRite, it's a very nice mozzarella. Like the pizza comes out nice with it. It tastes good all by itself. Okay, a little bit of Romano, and again, everything in moderation. And now a bit of this Parmigiano Reggiano. Don't want to overdo that. I did it once with the shaved. I said that earlier, and a little olive oil, and it changed the whole character of the pizza. You don't want to overdo any single ingredient. Okay, I'm going to stretch. Yeah, it didn't really stretch that much. Yeah, it came out. It stretched a bit. Okay, we're good. Right? Are we a little bit crooked? That's fine. It's going in. Okay, there it is. Right, and you see my headlamp is putting light on it. Okay, let's get my turning peel because we have to make sure. I don't want to do it too soon because I don't want to break the dough. Let it cook a bit, and we're going to get a turn on it. Let me keep my headlamp in there so it doesn't dim the video, huh? All right, I'm going to just pull it. I'm going to keep turning it. Okay. Oh, what time is it? It is 7:17. So it's getting dark early, huh? I just have to keep turning it. So it's probably been in there about 30 seconds. And the second one always comes out better than the first one just because. Well, I shouldn't say that because now I'm going to ruin this one, right? Nah. Nah. Where is my wine? Let's get that wine. Cheers. Is it okay that I'm drinking Bordeaux with pizza? It sure is. It sure is. And now that when we're done with this, what's going to happen next, right? In a little while, I'm going to shape my baguettes, and they're going in, but they're going to go in a cooler oven. I don't want it this hot. So what I'll do is I'll put the reinforced door on to keep the heat in, but I'm not going to add any more. I'm not going to add any more logs, so I'm not going to raise the temperature. I'm just going to keep the temperature consistent. Shape those baguettes, pop them in, and then maybe then later, when it gets cooler, I might roast some tomatoes for a white pie. The next time I do a white pie, I want to use oven roasted tomatoes because I think the sun-dried tomatoes are too chewy, and the raw tomatoes, even if you slice them real thin, are too wet. But if I do some nice oven roasted tomatoes, I might have the best of both worlds on that white pie. See how this one's a little nicer than the one before, right? It's a little cooler in that oven. I'm baking it slower. I'm not getting any char spots. Put that down. Pour myself a little more. What's the matter, Lola? Okay. That's what I want to see. I want to see it browning evenly. Right, you see it's bubbling? I want to see it brown nice and evenly. So you see the size of that pizza, right? I wasn't able to expand it to the full size of the peel. I'll get better at that. But you see how it comes to the width of the whole oven. So there would be no way, unless I got all those coals out of there, I could maybe put two deep, right? If I shoved all those coals off to the side, I might be able to put two of these in here, front to back. And maybe when I get better at this, I'll try that. But for right now, I'm happy to get one pizza out of here and get it to work. Let me lower my headlamp. There you go. But yeah, I think, like I said, if I can get all those coals that are back there off to the side, I can put two of these back to back in there. That's all I can fit. $7:21. That's 4 minutes, right? It's probably closer to 5. You see my cheese is bubbling up nice. And I'm thinking we're going to do a 7-8 minute pizza. And this one's going to be amazing. Lola, what are you doing, Lola? Lola's sitting. Let's see if I can show you Lola. Lola's sitting there waiting for me to let her in. Okay. She doesn't like it when I come out here by myself, but then she wants me to come in. Then she'll finally come out, but then she wants me to go back with her. She's got her little routine. See how it's nice and browning? We're at 22, 7:22. In another 30 seconds, maybe a minute, I'm going to start putting it closer to the back to crisp it up more. Let's take a look at the undercarriage. Yeah, it's starting to get nice. If I open that door, she'll go in. If I don't go in, she's going to start barking at me like, "Oh, why aren't you coming in?" Okay. We are kicking ass here. All right. I think it's time. I think it's time to bring it to the hotter part of the oven and get it crispy. This is dangerous because I can't see what's happening back there, right? See how that browns so quickly? Yeah, I can't see what's behind it. I just have to keep turning it. But you see how once I put it to the back of the oven, things change quickly. Right? Things change quickly. Yeah, we are looking good though. 724. I want to turn it. I want to turn it completely around. Yeah, I want to get this side there. Okay. Coming in. Look at that bad boy. Oh yeah, baby. That's going to be amazing. Okay. It's on the rack. Let's take a look at it. Right? Crispy, crispy. Look at the undercarriage, looking good. Let it rest. All right, here we go. Put those aside. Bring this one into the floor. Let's take a look at the undercarriage. Right? Get it cut. Yeah, she likes it. Okay. Grab a slice. Look at that. Right? Let's look at the undercarriage. Right? Get a bite. Let's get a bite. Can you hear it? How about him? Damn. That's as good as anything I've ever had out at a place that I like. Yeah. It's perfect. Great bite. It's not too thin, not too thick. Damn. All right. New York City style.